You're listening to another episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is a place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Greetings, my vast listening audience out there in podcast land. How you doing? Today we have Sarah Pierce, who's going to tell us all about home inspections and about what we should be looking for, about what she looks for, and also what's going on in the real estate market. Because you're telling me, and I also see this on the social media, it's gone crazy out there.
That it has, Brad. That it has.
I'm going to pull your mic down. Just there you go. All right, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, it is. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how it's affected her business. It's not just real estate agents or title companies or whatever else. It's also inspections and whatnot. And we talk about this market. It seems like in the last couple of months, it's just gone nuts. And so we're going to talk about how that goes. Also, I'll do a little promotion for some upcoming shows. We're gonna have 5 straight studio shows, which I always enjoy because it takes the pressure off me, puts the pressure on them, sort of. No, it doesn't. It's easy. And so y'all be nice, okay? Okay. So anyway, right now, just for a minute, we're going to talk about your background just for a minute, but first I need to talk about the sponsors, okay? Because they're the ones that make all this happening. All right?
Sounds good.
It just sounds good. There you go. See how easy this is?
It is back and forth.
There you go. How easy this is. I know you were nervous, but a lot of people say afterwards, it's like, well, that was it. That's no big deal.
Better than a root canal.
Yes, better than a root canal. Yeah, that was actually the second choice for my motto. Instead of you're entitled to my opinion, I was going to put better than a root canal, and it could have been worse, or it is what it is. We had all these out there, or
Makes a good T-shirt.
Yeah. I need to talk to Mandy about doing something like that. Actually, Sarah and I are friends from BNI, that networking group I've mentioned before, and have a couple sponsors, and also have one coming up. In fact, on Thursday, another BNI colleague, and Christina Beagler. She's going to talk about her odyssey from Oregon to Texas, and you have a very similar one, don't you?
That's correct. I did also move here from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here about 5 years.
And we'll talk about why you got here. I mean, I know why people come here. It's God's country, but there you are. But first, to jump in all that, let's talk about our sponsors, at least the first round. Thank you. Daniel over at CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Check out their webpage, CrossFitBurleson.com, for the training programs, the membership programs, the hours, the protocols, all the above. It's a very good workout. It's going to get you fit instead of throwing a fit. That's my motto for him. CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Shandy Stogsdill is somebody I'm going to be referred to quite often to this show because she is our sponsor of the real estate angle, but also what she's been posting on the 817 Live page has been pretty significant because it directly affects what we're talking about here with Sarah, because she's talking about how tight this market is getting. So if you want to have somebody that's insider on this information, you're going to need somebody like Shandy, and she's the best one there is. So get a hold of Shandy if you're thinking of moving in this area. If you think about doing this by yourself or doing it with somebody that's not familiar with the Johnson County area or Southern Tarrant County or Eastern Ellis County, or Western Ellis County, I suppose, you're going to really need somebody like Shandy. So give her a holler, and she'll help you find that home, and it's not easy these days. Also, over in Cleveland, we've got Rex Russell, myfinancialbox.com. Hit the link, get to know him, help you with the 401ks, 403bs, EIOs, all the rest. And he'll meet you where you're at. He drives all over the place. Rex and I have known each other for a long time. We're both Beto graduates, but I always joke about him being the smart one. And here I am. But anyway, myfinancialbox.com. Hit the link, get to know him. The market's going nuts as always. You want to talk about that. Hopefully you had Tesla stocks. Do you have Tesla stocks there, Taylor?
I did.
You did? Oh, man.
I made the mistake.
Oh, no.
I know.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Elon.
I cry myself to sleep every night. So
Thinking about what could have been.
Elon is probably going to hook you up anyway, I'm sure. I'm going to say, we need this guy up in Johnson County. Come work for me. Anyway, Rex Russell Wealth Group. Thank you. These next two. Gail at Southern Gym. Everybody has been taking their jewelry over there. It's Mother's Day a week from Sunday. So, if you have a mother of your children or your own mother, or your mother-in-law even, she has the nice jewelry. She has design, repairs, whatever else. It's a very nice inventory. You've been up there before, right?
I have been up there. I was actually just there last week, and it's a beautiful location. Gayla's such a sweet lady, and so are her employees.
Well, speaking of which, my wife will be working for her soon.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, she's
Neat.
retiring soon, and so I guess I can announce it now. But she starts pretty soon. But she's going to work for them in the summer. She's going to work for her after she retires, which will be about mid-fall from the school system. So there you
Seems
go.
like a nice, relaxing experience
It
there.
is. I've been there, a couple of times. Once to, Rob and go do a little jewelry shopping, which is for men, it's a dangerous thing. But I've been out there for like what I guess you'd call it sponsor care. Go by and visit, and it's a nice place, and she has really good inventory, and it's a secure place, so it's not like a mall store. You never know what's going to happen. Also, this one, Michelle Humphrey over at Hot Works.
Oh.
Have you ever done one at Hot Works?
I have not. I haven't been brave enough yet.
Yeah, well,
Sounds like it's a sweaty experience.
well, I know like our friend Robert Rice does this, and he's always talking about it. And several of our B&I peers do it, and they tell you it's a workout, but it being infrared, it maximizes the workout. And they have all these different formats, Pilates and yoga and all this. It's like 10 different programs you could choose from. And it's another place that's secure. You have a code if you're a member, or they can let you in if it's business hours. But it's not like any slob can just walk in. So, it's a good place for ladies to work out, certainly.
the cutting edge workout experience.
Yeah, I'm a little bit hoarse today. This pollen's been killing us for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But okay, let's start from the beginning. When you were a young girl, did you dream of inspecting homes? That was your dream and passion, right?
It absolutely was not my dream and passion. I wanted to be an airline pilot, and I wanted to join the Air Force and fly a jet. But I am 5'2" 2 3/4", and you have to be 5'3". So,
Oh, really?
there went that dream.
Oh well, yeah. But you started. This is a second career for you, in effect.
Correct. I've been in the waitress, service, bartending industry for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm. In Oregon and in Texas.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And what got you into home inspections then? It's a great profession, but it's not the first thing that most people would think of off the top of your head. But did somebody guide you towards it, or did you kind of fall into that?
A little bit of both. When I was in Oregon and growing up, I was sort of a tomboy. I was an only child. I helped my dad around the house a lot. We did rebuild some houses, flip some houses in Oregon, bought and sold a few of our own. As I got a little older, I purchased a few homes in Oregon and sort of did the same. And then, I saw through the transaction processes, people coming and doing the home inspection. And I actually didn't get a proper home inspection on one of the houses I purchased and really shot myself in the foot at one point. And so, it sort of just left a mark on me. And then when I came to Texas and started beginning a home buying process, I had a house inspected, and I was just picking the gentleman's brain, and I was looking around. I thought, this is something that I could really do. I enjoy the sort of whodunit mystery of each house. Every house sort of tells a story, whether it's new or old. It's just sort of fun to legitimately poke and snoop around people's homes and get to look and see how things are built and how it works. And
well, and so you had a background in this, even if it wasn't a professional one, but you had a personal one, yes.
And then at some point, I was getting a divorce, and I needed to pick something a little more stable, a little more consistent, and something, because I was used to the service industry of the flexibility. I wanted to be able to not be confined to that sort of 9 to 5.
Right.
I am obviously at the whim of when somebody needs a home inspection, but I have still that freedom of making sure that I'm there for my family when they need me. So.
Well, that's a good thing too, because I would imagine in this job, it's nights and weekends a lot of times, because that you have to be with the builder, a homeowner, realtor, whomever. But I would imagine that a lot of that is a very flexible schedule. So you left Oregon and came to Texas. How did that happen? Was it was your destination Texas, or is it you came across Texas and said, "Hey, I think I like it here"?
Well, I was actually doing some fitness coaching, and I sold my beautiful house in Oregon, and we packed up my family, at that point a 16-year-old and a 4-year-old, into a 28-foot travel trailer and traveled all of the southern states all the way to the Florida coastline. And then we decided, well, we need to come back and sort of settle down because the fitness coaching wasn't quite what I had expected for myself. So needed a different direction to go. And then we came back to Texas. I did know a couple people that that currently lived in Texas, and I had heard positive things about the school systems, the economy, all of the things. So I decided, hey, and I love the weather. I love the sunshine. I was done with the nonstop rain.
Really? See, we don't get enough rain over here. We're in a drought, and that's not an uncommon situation for us, but we're used to it. But so when you got in this trailer, it was like an adventure.
It was.
You weren't like looking for a job. You were like, hey, we got a little bit of wherewithal. We got this trailer. Let's go see the world, right? Go see South part of a country, part of America you probably never saw before.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's, although it did end up in a divorce, unfortunately, we got to show, and my ex-husband and I are very good friends, so I do have to say that, but we got to share, we saw the Grand Canyon, beautiful places in Arizona, did all sorts of hiking, biking, saw monuments and national parks. So, definitely got to experience some things.
That Southern culture must have been quite interesting to you.
It was. I had heard of that before, but never had I been, in a grocery store line and heard somebody talking about their barbecue, and then they lean over and invite you.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That's not something
people.
that happens.
And the cuisine quite different, and just the whole atmosphere is quite different. It really is. And then so you came back and said Texas, okay, and then it's in this area, in the DFW area, which is a good place to be. Personally, I would never want to leave Fort Worth, and so, but anyway, that's it's interesting because you'd heard all these good things about it. Has that proven to be true for you?
So far, I believe so. I mean, the like I said, the school districts have been wonderful for my child.
Which school district is it?
She's in the MISD school district.
Right,
She goes to Annette Perry.
Okay, well, Mansfield's a very good school system. Or it is Mansfield, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Either that or Midlothian. Whatever.
You're right.
Mansfield is a very good school system. Burleson's a very good school system. We do have several in this area that are pretty exemplary, and we're very fortunate for that. And you mentioned the weather. Of course, you don't mind the hot weather in August?
I don't,
Yeah, and so...
That's what shorts and tank tops are for.
Yeah, I know. And also, are the people different?
I would say yes. Again, a little more accommodating. Of course, there's all types of people that I've met, especially in the service industry.
Oh, we get a few cranks around here.
Yeah, of course. But yes, I would say so. I think that even sort of like the family dynamic here in Texas is something that I wasn't used to.
What do you mean by that?
I think where more people are sort of symbiotic or working together, or, here's my grandmother, she lives next door, lives with us here, and my aunt lives up the street, and we all sort of make it work together. I think that's sort of a great way to make life happen.
Well, that's kind of like my wife's situation. Her family lives in North Carolina, near the Carolina borders, and about a third of the town must be related to them in some fashion or another. And that's, they all live around there and they've been there forever. And that's just the way it works in the South, I think, a bit more. You expressed your concerns about Oregon. It's interesting because Christina Beagley, our mutual friend from being is going to be here, and she chose Texas because of what's going on in Oregon. And you have a similar story. You think Oregon is not the state you grew up in.
No, definitely not. A lot of the rules and regulations have changed. A lot of the important things have been defunded. Unfortunately, letting the homeless population move in may not have been the best move, because a lot of the beautiful aspects of Portland, which is where I was from, have been destroyed. And it's almost impossible to reverse that. And with some of the regulations that they imposed with COVID, had I stayed there and continued to be a server, there's no way. I would have absolutely lost my livelihood and had no choice. I mean, obviously ended up choosing another direction here in Texas, but I would have been a forced hand there in Oregon for sure.
Yeah. And so when you came to Texas and you're working as a bartender in the service industries and whatnot, how did you get into home inspections? I mean, officially. I mean, did you say, it's something I like, and I'm going to take the courses and whatever else, or did you hire on with somebody and they trained you?
No, I did some Googling. I did some research. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, tried to figure out which school and which direction I wanted to go, whether or not I wanted to shadow someone or whether or not I needed to do more of a online situation. And because of the amount I was working, I found that, doing the online training was going to be the best for me. So I did about 330 hours of
Really?
online classes.
Is it expensive?
I don't recall. It was under $2,000 for that part.
It
so-
sounds like a real
there's
estate
still
license.
more.
Yeah, you have more training and all this.
and fees and things like that, and the actual licensing, but the school itself, and then there's still someone that I could call right now if I had a question. Or, so it's sort of nice they don't just train you and leave you.
So you have to be licensed by the state of Texas.
That is correct.
And you pass the test. And then you told me before the show it wasn't an easy test.
It is not an easy test. It did take me a couple times to do it.
That's probably the normal.
Yeah.
Because, just about every profession in Texas seems like you need to pass a test for. And those tests aren't easy. Most people think, well, it can't be that hard. I could tell you right now, the tests for being a teacher, which I have more experience in, have greatly increased in their rigor in the last decade or so. And just about every other professional will tell you the same thing. Did you take that test online, or did you have to go to Austin for it?
I did not have to go to Austin, but I wasn't able to take it online. I did have to go to a testing facility. They pat you down, make sure you're not cheating. And it was a state and a national test. The state one I passed the first round, but the national took me a couple goes, and it's
so you can do home
it's
inspections
really,
anywhere now.
Yes, anywhere in the Texas. Where in the state of Texas I am licensed.
Well,
yes.
you said you had the national test though.
Are
you still working on that one?
It isn't. You have to still pass each individual state.
I
And now,
get you.
some other states do have different legalities on becoming a home inspector. Some places have a lot more training. Texas, truth be told, is one of the most rigorous places. Like, I probably couldn't have picked a more strict state, but with that comes a lot of knowledge and a lot of information that I probably wouldn't have received had I, taken or gone,
Well, that's an interesting
somewhere else. So
kind of a paradox about Texas. They think of Texas as laissez-faire, minimal business involvement by the government, and very laid back about it. Let the business do what they want. But the truth of the matter is, to get into a profession, to be a licensed profession, it takes more here than it would be in many other states. And so it's kind of a unusual situation. So you get your license, and then
through the Texas Real Estate Commission. So I get certified with them.
Taylor, throw up the ad she sent us, or the logo rather. I'm sorry. There we go. Yeah, there it is. Looks good. All right. See, and people watch this on YouTube and Facebook are going to see that picture. All right.
Yeah.
Did you find this company and apply to it, or you told me you kind of ran into the owner somewhat kind of fortunately?
I did. I feel like it was sort of this leap of chance here. I finally passed my test, and I could have started my own business. I was working at this cute little cafe in Mansfield, the Hearth Cafe, and he and his wife came in. I took care of him that morning. That evening, since I worked double duty, I went to the Texas Roadhouse, and there they were again. And I went over to give them a hard time about why they didn't eat at home, even though that was my livelihood. And at that point, I noticed his shirt stated that he was a residential home inspector, and I told him that I had just passed my test, and we bantered back and forth a little bit, and he nodded over to his wife, and she said, give her a card. Yeah. And so he said, call me next week and we'll meet at lunch. And so we did. We went and had a nice lunch, and he said, go ahead and interview with a couple other companies and make sure that we're on the right fit for you. And I did so, and I just, there was just something about how we clicked and what a supportive person he is, that there was no way that I couldn't go with the company.
And this is a small company. This is not a big mega company that will treat you personally. This really will treat you as friends and family, because it's a small enterprise. Where's it headquartered out of?
Mansfield.
Mansfield, okay.
Mansfield, yes.
And what's your region of inspection, so to speak? How far do you go?
I mean, we do all of DFW and most of the outlining areas. I mean, I will drive fairly far. There is, sometimes if we're talking, over 100 miles and such, we'll definitely add on a little bit of a traveling fee, but
because of the gas,
sort of
I'm
expected.
sure.
Yes, indeed.
Well, that big old truck you drove up in, I'm sure is... expensive to drive these days.
Yeah, you got to haul that ladder around somehow.
Oh, you have to get on the roof?
I do.
Okay, at the other side of the second round of commercials, I want to ask you about how you do inspections and whatnot. But so this company, I did a little Googling on it, but to kind of do research, and it's not a very old company. It's not been around that long, has it?
Well, and I don't know how long Patrick's called it ARI, but he's been doing home inspections for 17 years.
Right.
So
I think this company is been around about half a dozen years.
Okay.
Something like that. And so,
and I believe he might have had a different structure originally,
probably.
But yeah.
So, but how many people work for this company?
Well, about 3.5.
3.5. So you got a part-timer as well?
Yes. One of the gentlemen is also not a volunteer, a fireman. So he doesn't have a lot of time. And,
Right.
So Patrick and myself do most of them, and then there's one other gentleman who does some of the inspections as well.
Y'all do commercial inspections?
We do. We can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but primarily it's for homes,
Correct.
Residential. That hence the name. But so it's an outfit that can pay attention to its customers better than some big old massive organization. I'm sure you compete with some of these larger companies, and so you can offer them more personalized attention, I'd imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we pride ourselves on really easy to read and understand reports. Nobody wants a bunch of mumbo jumbo you can't understand. It's like going to the doctor and coming home confused. We definitely stay with the client through the entire process. If later down the road, they find something that they're curious about or have questions, they can call us.
Mm-hmm. Well, and of course, one of the things that's noteworthy about Texas is that, at least according to the commercials I hear, we have a lot of foundation issues. I bet that's a big part of your business. And also, I would imagine water issues is a big part of your business. And so on the second round after that, I want to talk about those type of issues and what you look for and what maybe as just a layman I should be alert to that would prompt a call to you. But let's do the second round here. And here we go with, come on, Taylor. There you go. Our Place. You've been to Our Place.
Absolutely.
That's where we do the B&I one-to-ones, at least I do. And I've got one tomorrow with April Robbins, who's been on the show. And also on Thursday morning, I'll be there with some of the men in my Sunday school class. We call it Dan's Dawn Patrol because they all like to get there early. I'm like, man, gosh, it's early,
Coffee, stat.
What was that line from Good Morning Vietnam? It's 0600, was the 04? Oh my God, it's early. And so that's kind of what I feel like. But it's a great place. And he's a very generous man. And he appreciates our patronage quite a bit. So he kind of sometimes helps me bring people over and all this. Our Place Restaurant, you know where it's at. It's on the highway in Alsbury. Also, are you a cigar smoker?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
Well, Wild Cigar is a place to go if you want to pick up that habit because it's a great place. It's it's in the same location as Gala's business over at the Standard, and they have a really, really nice humidor, and it's a nice bar. It's a quiet bar. I mean, probably some of the bars you might have worked in are not quiet.
No, absolutely. Don't they have appetizers?
They have like a charcuterie type situation. Yeah, they don't have to have, but they don't. It's not like they have like hamburgers or whatever. But they have snacks, and you go in there and it's a cigar bar, so you have this nice aroma. They have a really good ventilation system, so it's not like a big cloud of smoke or something like that. And it's very nice. And he'll have the sports on the TV, but it has the sound off, so you can just watch it, but you can still have a conversation and not get blown out. He'll be on the show a week from Thursday. We're going to talk about running a business during inflation because it's tough, very tough. Yes. And also, thank you to Antonio Bassano at Proactive Payment Solutions. He does business point of sales operations, help you with the best rates, best programs. Also, could streamline your whole operations to help you save some money. ProactivePaymentSolution.com is where you find him. Give him a click and give him a holler, and you'll find out he can save some money. And on Tuesday of next week, I'm going to have Tiffany Griffin, Local Life Magazine. Now, this is something, honestly, you talk about marketing. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. This is a good place to market.
Okay.
Because her magazine goes out to 30,000 homes and a lot of businesses and all over this area, Johnson County and all the way to Joshua and parts of Crowley. And she's slowly expanding her reach to go maybe into like Grandview and that kind of place. But in Local Life Magazine is also online, locallifetx.com. So you can see this current issue and see the deals and discounts and coupons and whatever else. I advertise in it. So
Perfect.
So it's worked for me. I've had people not daily, certainly, but every now and then I get a call saying, "Hey, tell me about your podcast or whatever," and say, what's it about and how much does it cost to sponsor, blah 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 blah. But it does get me out there. So there you are. Wait a minute, we got a couple of special events, Taylor. Do you have the ASD one by any chance? Anyway, Thursday or Friday. Here, thank you, Taylor. This is why he gets the big money. He's got it right there. All right. Anyway, we got this 80s prom for the Center for ASD. It's an autism group, and they're having a fundraiser at the Burleson Event Center, which is just south of town, which used to be the name of the building, in fact, somewhere just south of town. But anyway, so 80s prom. There's Friday night, and one of our BNI friends, Camille, is very involved in this. Also, Bianca, who's in BNI, is pushing this. Also, we have a couple more, don't we? The Spartans, the golf tournament. Well, we have the Spartan band is having a golf tournament on the 21st to raise money, and also one more, I believe. Oh yes, the Walk for Life for the Next Step Women's Center is very soon. So you have to check out the websites. There it is. Check out the website and see if you can support that great cause. I have them on quite often. It's one of my favorite nonprofits here in Burleson. They do a lot of stuff for women that are dealing with pregnancies that need assistance, with financial and material things and things of that nature. It's a wonderful outfit.
That's great.
Anyway, back to you. What is the most common problem you see when you go and do a home inspection?
One of the biggest, most common problems are either foundation issues here in Texas, obviously with our dry weather and the usually slab foundations. There's a lot of movement that can go on with that. Roof issues that can then lead to water penetration, so leaking in through the ceiling and down the walls and in through the windows and things like that. Hail here in Texas is a really big deal. Things like that. The wind ripping off shingles, things like that. Wind and tree damage. The next most common thing is probably things not being up to date with the electrical systems.
So how would you Well, got several questions to ask you now. I should go back to the first one coming to my head about the foundations. Would you walk and do to an inspection? What is a telltale sign that the foundation is an issue? What are you looking for?
A lot of times you'll see cracks on the exterior of the home and the foundation itself. And if they don't show on the outside of the home, they'll show signs on the inside of the home. And that's usually noted by what direction the cracks are running and their size.
Okay. Isn't, though, foundational shifting, house shifting, a normal process of the house getting older?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All houses are going to move a little bit. It just depends on how much and what direction. And sometimes, the foundation, one side's going one way and one side's going the other. And that's where problems really begin to happen.
Well,
Things will raise while other sides begin to dip. And that's when you'll begin to notice a lot of the imperfections in the inside of the home, because that then begins to affect the trusses and things up in the ceiling and in the attic.
Well, that's what happened when my daughter was looking for a house with our mutual friend Felicia. And also, I had talked to Shandy prior to this to ask her about what I should be looking for. And she told me, look for these things. That's why I'm glad Shandy and I are connected. Anyway, we were looking at different homes, and you could almost feel like the slope, in some of in the living areas, you could just almost like you're gathering momentum as you go to one end of the room to the other, and that's just a telltale sign. And you'd see cracks in the wall and things like that. But is it possible you can have foundation problems and not know it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
How would you find that out? If you don't see obvious cracks, how would you know that?
There are foundation specialists that you can call out if you have some sort of concern. But other than feeling movement in the floors or seeing it in the walls, it can move and not even create a problem. That's sort of the thing. There can be deficiencies without it actually affecting the integrity of the home.
And as far as you're talking about the electrical situation, what are you looking for?
I'm making sure that it's properly grounded, that there are arc fault interrupters in the electrical box. That everything has been currently updated. There's no aluminum wiring. There's not double lugs in the electrical box. There aren't holes. There's not something living in there. I mean, I've definitely seen
Living.
Yes. You pull off the cover and it's nice and warm in there. So reptiles and things love to nest in there.
Okay,
So
you have to be careful. Okay.
they're usually way more frightened of me than I of them,
Well,
thankfully.
but I bet it is shocking a little bit, so to speak.
yes.
Electrical gear shocking. Anyway.
I have even seen old knob and tube, so that's the old wiring there, you find the little glass connectors for.
Really?
And, so that's definitely can be a dangerous situation. Things that don't have enough wattage, you couldn't run all of your appliances at the same time without it cutting out.
Well, yeah. What's interesting is, when our B&I meetings and we're going around the room, it seems like sometimes they kind of get me all concerned about something. Russell will get up there and say, well, this, it could happen to your computer. This could be, you could be broken into and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dang, all these things could happen to me. When about 3 weeks ago, Melissa Harmon gets up there, our insurance person, and she says, you better get your roof inspected. We just had a really bad storm. And Justin McGuire came in and checked it, and we were fine. But a lot of people don't know they have roof damage until they have somebody look it over. Do you get up on the roof?
I do get up on the roof. I do get up on the roof. Sometimes if they're too tall or too steep, I can't. We will check it from the roof edge, or we also have drone capabilities.
Oh, a drone capabilities, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, that way you don't miss.
Do you
the
know how to do it
spots.
yourself?
I don't. Patrick's usually the drone man.
Okay,
but-
well, it's like an Xbox game or so. But
It is.
But you go up there and you check out the roofs, and a lot of people can look at eyeball and say, "Hey, it looks good to me." But you'll go up there and say, "Wait, you've got gaps in your shingles."
Yes, you're looking at the flashings, and penetrations. Any spot that there's been a hole cut into your roof is a great spot that water can access and get into that sheeting and bake in the mold and the rot process, and then that's where a lot of that damage that is really costly to repair can begin.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. One of my sponsors here, Antonio. If you need a qualified electrician, that's what he is. He also it's a point of sales guy. Is what I'm talking about. He's creating his own business, but he also is a certified electrician. So if you need to talk to him, yeah. So and so he could do both things, I guess. Also, the water problem in this state causes mold all the time.
Yes.
You probably encounter that all the time, don't you?
I have definitely come across mold, and a lot of times the people don't even know it exists. Most of the time, it's back in some wall or underneath a cabinet or perhaps where the water heater is. There's a lot of places that, there's an opportunity for water to sort of collect without you knowing.
So you go look at these areas
I look
specifically.
at all these areas.
Yeah.
One of the other big areas that is costly that I focus on is the HVAC, so your heating, ventilation, and cooling systems. That can be a costly item that can go out during your purchase.
Yeah. And I can vouch for that. About 3 or 4 years ago, we discovered some wood rot in our eaves, and we had to get those replaced. And, that's not for free. And so, basically what had happened is the water from the air conditioner unit, the excess drainage was not draining properly. So we had to get the air conditioner guy to get us a proper drain, but by that time it caused all this damage. And it wasn't a tremendous amount of damage. It was mostly just carpentry work, but it could have gotten a lot worse.
Yes. If you don't catch those things and they go unnoticed for months and years, it can definitely do a lot of damage.
Yeah. And the mold, of course, has all those health issues. And that's, I guess, if you get straight mold, that's what we call our friend Lisa, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Lone Star Restoration. See, I'm throwing a lot of B&I references
I like that,
here.
yes.
Yeah.
We do have quite a little gang over
we
there.
We do. And it seems like there's just about anything you need, you can get over there with whatever service or product, whatnot. And then you get Kyle over there to clean it up and, make sure it's nice and, sanitized or whatever. But anyway, other issues that I would think would be a problem would be like windows and the fact that, they don't close properly or are not properly ventilated or insulated. That's the word I want to use. Is that, you run across that too, right?
The Texas sun is very hard on the windows here, and a lot of homes I find with external caulking issues for sure, and that's easy to repair. You just cut it out and you put some new in there, but it's just about doing that preventative maintenance.
Right.
If I find a window that's very askew, sometimes that is a result of some foundation issue or perhaps another issue. So The windows, and you're correct, the insulation, some of them haven't been updated depending on the age of the home. Some of them won't lock. A lot of times I find that they're just inoperable for you to even open and close. And most of the time it's because I'm sure there's many windows in most people's homes that just seldom get opened. And so it's general lack of use.
That and windows aren't cheap, because my wife and I considered it about a summer ago, and I was like, whoa. That's a lot of liquor stores I'm going to have to knock off. And so it's just no. But as a layman, as a, non-professional, what should I be looking for?
Again, cracks and any sort of moisture that you see either in, your ceiling area, below your cabinets, on your wall line. Any sort of weird noises from any of your larger units, like your air conditioner, things like that. Most things will sort of give you a sign before they start to fail on you.
Like my hot water heater last summer, a year ago summer actually, but it was, that's not cheap either, but it is what it is.
Well, and that was another item that I check. I check the temperature on the water heater, seeing, what date they are. And, the thing about home inspections is it's a picture of what's going on with that home that exact day, that exact moments, hours that I'm there. So, in a week down the road, you could come back and now it doesn't work. But at that moment, I'm going to tell you what's going on. And there are some things that give you signs that I can say, oh, well, gosh, that's about, that doesn't have much longer in this world. So,
well, how long does this whole inspection process take?
To actually view the home, it typically takes about an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on how large the house is, how many other systems they have, like sprinklers and things like that.
And the septic system, I have one of those.
Yes. And then it takes about 2 hours to write the report.
And there are various levels of reports, right? The one that is probably the most thorough is the one we're talking about now. It takes about 4 or 5 hours total of time to. And so if you came out to a house today, when would they get the report?
I generally try to get it back that same evening.
Really, that quickly?
Worst case, I'll bring, you'll get it by about 9 a.m. So,
okay, well,
and that's
great.
just because I want to put a fresh eye on it and make sure I haven't missed anything or left anything out. So,
well, and speaking of the timeliness issue, this is where I bring Shandy back into it. She's been posting and I've been texting with her. In fact, on a side note, Shandy is going to be on the show on the 10th, talk about her Re-Inspire charity with Sharice Olson. Anyway, the side note, but Shandy's been posting about how she's representing people and offering well over the asking price, cash price, and still it's not being accepted because of just that much competition for homes. That's, again, one reason I say, guys, if you're listening, you're looking to move, you need to talk to Shandy because this is what's happening with her, and she's a very skilled negotiator, and she's having them people offer $40,000, $50,000 cash more and still coming in second or third. And one of the other negotiating pieces is they will forego the inspection. To me, that sounds like a sign of desperation. I never would buy a home without having it inspected.
Oh, I agree. I mean, that to me sounds like gambling in both directions. We're going to overbid on a home and then we're going to hope that there's nothing wrong with it. Some repairs can be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000.
Oh, yeah.
If not more.
Well, foundation, you're not going to get anything less than $10,000, I'd imagine. But, you could, or a new air conditioning unit's going to run you about $8,000. And that's prices I'm quoting for about 2 years ago. Who knows what they are now with all inflation going on. But it's incredible to me that people are willing to pay well above the equity price. Everybody who asks for a price for a home, first of all, is getting more than the equity in the home officially, I suppose. And then they're getting this like $40,000 selling bonus maybe. And people are willing to pay so much extra for a home and put that much money into it and still not do any inspections. It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me either. I don't know if it's out of the fear of possibly having something found and then not wanting the home, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to know what you were getting yourself into, especially a lot of people are moving from out of state. and having a home inspection is that great third person, non-biased, I don't know these people. I have no interest. I just need to go and give you the information about your home. Then that way you can make an educated decision about what you're getting yourself into.
Well, I know, but again, it's just remarkable to me. Now, who pays for these home inspections and these type of transactions?
The person purchasing the home, typically.
Right. If they're the purchaser is the one paying the bill, I wonder why they're foregoing the inspection, because it might turn the buyer off and say, well, I got these others that aren't asking for an inspection, and I'm not going to waste my time with you. Is that what's going on here?
I'm not really sure, I mean, because with the cash transaction, I don't think that there's a lot of that countering back and forth. Oh, okay, will you fix the air conditioner and or take off this amount of money? I mean, they've already made their bid, and a lot of, they aren't really going back and forth. I'm not really sure why,
But last Wednesday when we were talking and we set up this show, when I was asking how business was, it is impacting the business, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just people foregoing them, and then a home that would have been on the market that perhaps, because people, once they finally have the opportunity and, people have put offers on multiple houses, they've got the one, they're not backing out of it. And a lot of times, you would get an inspection and maybe we'd find things that you didn't want to deal with or take care of. So they would go on to the next house, and then that house would be then inspected again by another inspector, or who knows, maybe us again. And then that can, continues to sort of perpetuate that cycle of doing home inspections. And without that piece in the chain, it does definitely, limit our inspections.
I'm probably like most other Americans. My home is my biggest investment. That's part of your slogan,
yes.
Inspecting your biggest investment. Here's somebody. I'm going to get on here. See, we get the questions on the board, and I can get them here on my personal phone. Here, come on. There it is. Oops. Come on. There it is.
And yeah, option periods, I think you were going to ask how long we usually have. It used to be there would be 10 days and 7-day option periods. I've come across a lot of 3 days. And so that means you need to get there in time right away.
Right.
And if I find something, because a lot of times I am not a electrician, I am not an HVAC specialist. So you're going to need to get a third party out there if I find something wrong. And so that's, it becomes this really huge crunch on time.
Well, Nick Barrios is a former student of mine, also a real estate agent, and pretty successful at it. And he's 100% need to get inspections.
Absolutely,
and
Nick.
yeah, absolutely. And also my friend James Smelly, who's also involved in real estate as well. So he's watching, and I was telling him Sunday, we were going to Sunday school together, and I was telling him about this, and he just said, he kind of reiterated what you were talking about with the rush to get homes. Sometimes they just skip this stuff. Well, one way of looking at it is they skip it now, they're going to have to do it later.
Exactly.
Exactly. And it's going to be more expensive, because then you have problems that you could have been taken care of by the original owner. Now it's on you. And
correct.
Because you were in a haste to get this house, you might find out 2 years later there's significant roof problems that could have been factored into the purchase.
Oh, absolutely.
And that
absolutely.
kind of thing. It doesn't make any sense here. Okay, Nick got something else. People can use the HOA documents to back out of the contract if they find a problem during the inspection. So the inspection really is to protect the buyer.
Yes.
And I keep coming back to this point. Why would they not want that protection? But I guess they're just like, in such a hurry or whatnot, or they're afraid that the seller has got all these other options that are going to be less
of a pain or what have you.
Yeah, or less.
And I think some people do feel like they're experts too. So maybe they've already looked over the items. But I know, even in purchasing my own homes, I've gone back to the house and went, gosh, I didn't even know it had blue carpet. Oops, So you become enamored with the house.
Blue carpet, yeah.
And you get lost in the transaction.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was joking before the show. You're kind of probably like a doctor, because every time you go to somebody's house, are they reluctant to invite you because I don't want her looking at this, or you just walk in the house, I'm not going to mention that crack in the wall over there, or something like that. Or they invite you over for social events, and they Do you find yourself just inspecting their house?
I think I'm guilty of all of those. People definitely have been hesitant sometimes to invite me over, or I will get busted, caught red-handed looking at something, and they're like, "Oh no, we were going to work on that next week." I'm like, I don't care. I'm just looking. That's just
kind of like a doctor.
It's like my hobby.
Yeah, they go to a party. Oh, you're a doctor. Oh, I have this pain right here.
Yes,
they want a little free service and. I don't get that very often. I don't walk into a social situation and say, "So, Mr. Allard, tell us about some history." No, it didn't happen that way. Or, so people are like, "Oh, Lord, I hope he didn't start talking." But anyway, but people, you just find yourself going in there and just by just all that habit.
Yes. I'm looking around and I tell them, they're like, "Don't condemn my house." I'm like, "Guys, I don't condemn people's houses. That's not what a home inspector does."
Yeah.
And first of all, this is just a little crack. We don't need to worry. Or maybe you should call someone,
Said, a little mold ain't going to kill you.
Yeah,
Well,
you
it
should probably
might.
tell little Billy to stop licking it.
Well, that's a lovely thought there, dear.
Yes,
now, as far as your company, Taylor, will you put the logo back up, please? How can they contact you?
Well, I believe the phone number is there.
Right. Well, to tell, but see, a lot of people see this or hear
it's
this
okay.
rather.
So 503-998-2681 is my cell phone number, and then we also
Just one more time for the cell.
503-998-2681, and then I'm sorry, I don't even know my own email address, and aripropertyinspections.com.
Right.
We do have a website.
Well, see, a lot of people access the show on Apple and Spotify. They don't see the show; they hear it, and so like they're driving in their car or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
So those phone numbers one more time, but a little slower, dear.
Okay. 503-998-2681 and aripropertyinspections.com. And yes, I know that's still an Oregon number.
Yes. Well, you'll get it changed sooner or later.
I will.
Yeah.
It's not very Texan of me.
No, well, that's okay. A lot of people still drive around with out-of-state driver's license until they just...
Hey, I fixed that.
Okay, good.
I am a Texan resident.
Well, but people that hear this show will probably... I probably overall more people hear it than actually view it.
Yes.
Even though the YouTube is picking up a little bit. That's a good thing. I like that. Anyway, I'm going to run through the sponsors one more time, and you'll get the last word to tell us everything you want us to know about ARI and yourself. Okay, thank you, Daniel, CrossFit Burleson. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and Amber and the kids are doing well. So go over there, and, that's a pretty stout workout. So if that's what you're looking for, that's the place to get it, 317 Southwest Wilshire. All right, and Shandy, like I've been talking about, referring to her the whole show, you really need to talk to her if you're looking to move in this area, because it's obvious that she's pulling her hair out. I just read her text or her postings rather, and she's just it's frustrating to make this exceptionally high offer over the asking price and still not be the number one choice. It's got to be irritating. But anyway, Shandy, hang in there. It's going to get better sooner or later, and we'll see you on the 10th of May with your Re-Inspire organization. Also, Rex, he'll help you through this market situation, the ups and the downs, the Russell Wealth Group. Hit myfinancialbox.com and see his introductory video, and he'll meet you and visit with you. Also, thank you to Gayla. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I know it's a busy time. You got Easter just passed, but you also have Mother's Day, like I mentioned. Also, you got graduation, a little gift for your graduating daughter or something like that. Actually, it's the dads that need the gift, Yeah, so, but you're still a ways away from your youngest. You still got a few years to wait.
Yes.
Good for you.
Oh, but she loves jewelry already. Don't you worry.
Well, then, yeah. So does my wife. I think she has just a genetic attraction to it. Also, thank you to Michelle. Hope you're doing well. I know she's been very busy. She opened up that Las Colinas outfit, but the one on 714 on John Jones is here in Burleson, and can get a very distinct and unique workout with that infrared system. Also, thank you to Otto at our place. I'll be seeing you. Well, I don't know. He's traveling so much, but I'll maybe see you tomorrow. I know I won't see you Thursday because his son does the morning shift. So anyway, but our place, really good place to go. Also, thank you to Chris over at Wild Cigar. Like I said, he'll be on a week from Thursday on May 5th. Talk about running a business during this inflationary period. And I'll hold back on my comments about politics on his behalf. So Wild Cigar. And also thank you to Antonio, not just a certified electrician, guys, but also owns Proactive Payment Solutions and help you with your point of sales operations and help you with streamlining your business. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Tiffany with the Local Life. The magazine comes out, and it's going to be great as always. She has a nice new fold-out thing. The Local Life issue, this current one, locallifetx.com is up, and there it is, locallifetx.com, and so you can get discounts, coupons, etc. Also, farmers market this Saturday, 8 to 1, or 8 to noon, I guess. No, it's 8 to 1. Yeah, it's 8 to 1. And that's a great place to go. It really is. It's like a little miniature county fair every Saturday. And they got some really, oh yeah, it's worth the time if you're ever over here. Just stop by because they get a lot of different stuff and a lot of great tamales. And also he's got his own business, Walnut Creek Farms, which has produce, meat, the whole thing. A lot of people buy, that's where they buy their stuff from because it's so good. Also,
shop local.
Yeah, that's the whole point, yeah. Second annual Spartan Regiment Classic golf tournament on May 21st to help out the band. Also, any others? There's the prom coming up on Friday with our friends from ASD. And Next Step Women's Center and their Walk for Life. Check out their webpage for how you could sponsor or become a walker. Okay, you got the last word. Tell us what you want us to know.
Well, thank you for the opportunity for coming on your show, Brad.
No
this
problem.
has been really fun. I was super nervous, but you're just such a relaxed guy. This is great.
Well, this ain't Broadway.
It's not.
It's not.
I shouldn't have worn the prom dress, I guess.
Oh well.
No, I'm just kidding. I just don't forego your home inspection. It's worth the money. It's worth the time. We'll be there for the entire, transaction. So this is Sarah Pierce with American Residential Inspections, inspecting your biggest investment.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Every Wednesday.
I bet you have.
Well, thank you. I learned something. I hope people that listen and share this show with their friends, particularly if they're looking to buy a home, realize the importance of an inspection and realize the situation this market is in. And I hope this helps. I hope it helps the listener. Hope it helps you.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we'll see you Thursday here with our friend Christina Bigley, who's got a similar story to yours. So we'll see you on
great
Thursday.
Lady. Oh, man.